Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Gonna be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Wolves. It is tomorrow night, 8 o'clock kickoff at Old Trafford. So obviously Edinson Cavani was mentioned during the press conference. Solskjaer said he is definitely a starter for Manchester United, and he said that the club are already looking to extend his contract. Solskjaer has revealed the first thing Edinson Cavani asked when he came to the club, and that's whether he could wear the number 7 shirt. Edinson Cavani has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He didn't obviously start against Leicester, but he did come off the bench and made an instant impact because he got an assist. He came off the bench, and scored twice against Southampton, and he also got an assist, so he changed the complexion of that game. He scored in the 2-0 win against Everton in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. He scored his first goal for the club in our 3-1 win against Everton in the league earlier on in the season, and he almost scored with his first touch when he came on against Chelsea, and that was his Premier League debut. So Solskjaer believes that Cavani will be at Manchester United next season, and he believes that he still has several years at the top of his game. Now also, Harry Maguire was mentioned during the press conference. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lauds Harry Maguire for playing more minutes than anyone in the world in 2020. And Ole did mention that Harry Maguire has improved. He has bounced back from his early season troubles because don't forget, before the start of the season he had that incident in Greece. He still enjoyed bad games as a Manchester United player. You know, when he has been bad, he's looked too exposed at the back. You know, he's made mistakes. But when he's been good, he's been very effective in the air, and he's latched onto set pieces well, and he's showed that ability to play out from the back. My concern about Harry Maguire is that he is a static centre-half, and he certainly wasn't worth the £80 million that we got him for from Leicester. Now, Luke Shaw, he was also mentioned during the press conference. I think it's down here somewhere. It says, I wanted to ask you about Luke Shaw and in particular his attacking play in the last few matches. And Solskjaer said, Luke's one of those lads with strength and power and quality. And he says, of course, down that left-hand side, he's created a good relationship with Marcus Rashford. And Solskjaer mentioned that he has enjoyed working with Luke Shaw. And he said he is a talented boy. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he is injury prone. Don't forget, he came off injured in our 6-2 win against Leeds the other week. Before that, he initially had a hamstring problem, and he had a couple of periods out with injury last season, did Luke Shaw. See a few of the other things that were mentioned as well during the press conference. And this was, I think, the second topic of the press conference. It says, like, last season it felt like we were talking about United facing Wolves every week. They were tight games. Have your players now got more solutions up their sleeve to unlock those tight games? This was obviously what Ollie was asked on. Ollie was asked in this certain topic, and he says, well, we've had so many tight games against them. We are improving, definitely. We're getting better and better at finding different solutions in different games. But we know that Wolverhampton have got quality as well, and they will give us problems if we're too open. We've got a plan together. Season more. And then you had this one. This was another topic in the press conference. You've had 2 tough games in Everton and Leicester away, but you've used the best part of 20 players. This is what he was asked. The most bode well for the little run you've got with a lot of games in a short space of time. And then he replied to this one saying that I think we have to do it this way. It's always good for the players knowing that we trust them. We trust them to play big games, and they're here for a reason. They're here to contribute. And in this period, everyone will have to contribute and across the season. It's going to be relentless. I hope that will stand us in good stead. So that's really it. There were, the stuff that were mentioned during the press conference. By the way, we've had some news on Wan-Bissaka. I think I mentioned that this morning. Solsjaer's hopeful that Wan-Bissaka will be available. Wan-Bissaka didn't play any part in the Leicester game. Wan-Bissaka has been training though. So obviously if he's available, we should be starting him at right back. But I said if he wasn't to be available, it would be Axel Tuanzebe at right back. There's obviously Fossa Mensah, who's another option at right back. Brandon Williams is also another option. Victor Lindelof, though, is a doubt for this game. Lindelof came off injured in our 2-2 draw with Leicester. Lindelof was surprisingly playing at right back in that game. So there you go. But this game against Wolves won't be easy. Now, Wolves, like I mentioned on the preview, haven't been as consistent this season as they have been in recent years. I think they're sitting, 11th in the Premier League at the moment. They drew recently to Tottenham, 1-1. But they have beaten Arsenal and Chelsea this season. Nuno Santo is a pretty good manager. He has been at Wolves now for quite a few years. Wolves is the 4th club in his managerial career. Obviously, before he was at Wolves, Nuno Santo was at Porto. Before then, he was at Valencia. And before then, he was at Real Ave. In one of his seasons at Wolves, he actually got them a 7th place finish. And that's very, very good to that Wolves' standards. They've also got some good players as well. Ollie obviously knows the quality that Wolves have got. Raul Jimenez, he's obviously one of their key players. He's not going to be playing though tomorrow night because he's out with injury until January, mid-January that is. Adama Traore, he's also one of their key players. He should be in contention to start tomorrow night. Moutinho, he's one of their key players. Neto, he's a very, very good winner. He's one of their key players. Ruben Neves, one of their key players. Dendoncker, he's been out with injury recently. Connor Cody, he's one of their key players. He was actually at Liverpool before Wolves. That's where he began his career. They've got Johnny as well, but Johnny, I think, is out with injury. Nuno Santo has brought quite a few players into Wolves earlier on this year. Obviously, they brought Fabio Silva in. They brought Nelson Semedo in from Barcelona. They brought whoever in. They brought Fernando Markel in. They brought Vitina in. was it on loan? They brought Luke Matheson in from Rochdale. So yeah, Wolves bought quite a few players in. Don't forget, during the summer they let Diego Jota go to Liverpool. They sold him for around 45 million. And they let Matt Doherty go to Tottenham. Now, we played Wolves 4 times across all competitions last season. Both games in the league were draws. It was obviously 0-0 at Old Trafford. That was obviously when Bruno Fernandes made his debut for the club, and I think in that game he had the most touches. It was 1-1 at Molineux. We did play them in the FA Cup. Obviously, it was a draw the first game, so it obviously went to a replay, and we won the replay 1-0. Almost a couple of years ago now, Wolves beat us twice in one season, didn't they? They beat us in the league 2-1 at Molineux, and they knocked us out of the FA Cup quarter-final 2-1. And that season they got to an FA Cup semi-final for the first time in 21 years. But we're coming into this game on the back of a 2-2 draw with Leicester. I think we was unlucky not to beat Leicester, to be honest with you. Solsjaer gave his perception on that game. And he pinpointed the chances that we had. He thought we had the better of the chances, Ollie. He said a draw is not the worst result, but he's disappointed that we didn't get all 3 points. He says we should have closed down quickly for both of Leicester's goals. But we knew Leicester were going to be tough because Leicester are a good team and they've got a very good manager in Brendan Rodgers. Obviously, our goals were from Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. Marcus Rashford has scored 50 goals now in the Premier League for the club. I think he's scored 80 in all competitions. Obviously, Leicester's goals came from Harvey Barnes. You know, to be honest with you, De Gea couldn't really do much to prevent that happening. It was a good strike from Harvey Barnes, to his credit. And the second one was an Axel Tuanzebe own goal. But initially, he'd been given to Jamie Vardy at the first. Don't forget in the game as well, Martial had a disallowed goal. I think he was just offside though, so it was the correct decision. Marcus Rashford, he missed a sitter right at the start of the game, should be scoring. You know, he had a good chance in the second half. It produced a fantastic save from Schmeichel. But it was a missed opportunity because if we'd have beaten Leicester, we'd have been second in the league, just 2 points behind Liverpool, plus we've got a game in hand. And it would have been 11 away wins in a row in the Premier League. But yeah, like I say, hopefully we can get back to winning ways against Wolves. If we do beat Wolves though, I think don't we go second in the league? And it will be our 3rd win at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. Obviously after Wolves, we've got Aston Villa on New Year's Day. Villa's going to be tough because Villa have been in very, very good form recently. After Villa, it's Manchester City in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Now, will that game be going ahead? Because a couple of City's players now have got coronavirus. City's game against Everton, obviously tonight, has been cancelled because of COVID. Just basically spoiling everything, isn't it? But anyway, after City, it's Watford in the FA Cup, and then after that, it's Liverpool. So games are coming up thick and fast for Manchester United. You know, I think we've still got Phil Jones out injured until January. Marcus Rojo, he's obviously got a calf problem. Rashford did have a shoulder problem that got confirmed after the Leicester game, but obviously that's just a minor problem. He played the full game, didn't he, Marcus Rashford, against Leicester? But yeah, like I said, I do think for this game against Wolves, Solsjaer will, you know, make some changes. You know. Obviously, in January, we are looking to make more signings. we need more signings at the football club, and we've already revealed the 4 positions that we want to strengthen up. Now, we obviously want to recommend a right winger in, we want to recommend a centre half in, we want to recommend a holding midfielder in, and we want to recommend a right back in. I heard recently that Solsjaer's actually been advised to sign a striker. Do Manchester United really need a striker at this moment in time? You know, the way with how good Cavani has been. But Ed Woodward's recently changed his transfer strategy. The January transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as Manchester United manager. And I'm hopeful that he gets the backing he deserves, next year, because quite clearly during the summer transfer window, he wasn't backed enough by the board. But the board haven't backed any of the managers that we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson left, and this is one of the main reasons why the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. Our recruitment policy's been gash for the last, 7.5 years at least. But Woodward has come out several times to support Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, hasn't he? But definitely Solskjaer's job is safe. At the moment, he's not under any pressure, because obviously the pressure has eased off him, reflecting on our good vein of form. We are unbeaten in our last 8 league games, but a few times he's been under pressure since he got appointed in as Man United manager. Obviously, there has been talks of Mauricio Pochettino coming in. Pochettino to Man United now, I've fully disregarded it, haven't I? Because Pochettino's going to PSG. I think PSG is set to appoint him in sometime this week. PSG sat Thomas Tuchel on Christmas Eve. Massimiliano Allegri, he's been on our agenda a couple of times. Julian Nagelsmann, earlier on in the season, was on our agenda, and so too was Thomas Tuchel. But Solskjaer will still be Man United manager obviously next year. Could still be Man United manager at the end of this season. Now, my concern about Solskjaer is that he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. Because, like I said, before he came to the club, he was at Molde, and before Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was disastrous. But you can say, reflecting how long he's been at the club, he's learned quite a bit, and he has gained some managerial experience. You know what I mean? Another thing that concerns me about him, like I've said time and time again before, is his decision making. Because in a lot of his games at Manchester United, he's made mistakes, and that's obviously cost us. And he made mistakes in the 2-2 draw with Leicester, because some of his selections were wrong. United fans will say, Paul Pogba should have started, Edinson Cavani should have started. Probably made the wrong decision by starting Daniel James, because he did start James against Leicester. He was playing on that right wing. Probably made a mistake by putting Lindelof at right back, because we should have actually put Tuanzebe at right back. Donny van der Beek, he didn't play any part against Leicester. He seldom starts in the league, Donny van der Beek. He's only started 2 games so far in the league for Man United. He tends to get more chances in the cup games as Donny van der Beek. But I thought his substitutions were right against Leicester. But in some games, he has got it right, and he has showed tactical flexibility. And I've still got to say that Ole is out of his depth at the football club. We did give him the job too early. We gave him the job permanently too early, didn't we? But the main explanation we gave him the job was reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. So I do have concerns about him. This is Solskjaer's 2nd full season at Manchester United, and I always said, didn't I, this was always going to be a big season for him. I said if we can finish in the top 4, the top 3 this season, and if we can win a trophy, that will represent a very good season for Man United. Then that will give us something to build on. Our squad's certainly good enough for a top 4, top 3 finish this season. I'm very sceptical we'll win the Premier League this season. I'm not fully disregarding it, but I just don't think it will happen. Solsjaer has come out a couple of times this season and said that, Manchester United can win the Premier League. But then he said something that was totally comparison, because prior to the Leicester game, like he updated you on, he said Man United must ignore Premier League title talk. You had Roy Keane coming out after the Leeds game saying that Man United can challenge Liverpool for the Premier League title this season. We haven't won a trophy for almost 4 years now, and we know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. We haven't won a trophy yet under Ollie, so it's very imperative that we get our first trophy under Solsjaer. So this is why the EFL Cup is a priority for us, and I credit Solsjaer because he's got us to the semi-finals. I give him a lot of credit for what he did last season, his first full season, because he got us to 3 semi-finals, he got us qualification for the Champions League, and he also got us third. We're enjoying a good period under him now, and we enjoyed a good period at a good period last season, because we went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season. We was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. He has made some good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. Spent over £200 million at the club. We've also seen a lot of players leave the club since he got recommended in. So these positives to take. Not so long ago, it was his 2-year anniversary at the football club, wasn't it? I think for Man United to win the Premier League, I think we need more signings. Some people say we probably still need another manager. We need a manager in at the highest level. We definitely need to address our defensive deficiencies, because we are leaking goals. And Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof can play well together, like they've proven, but they are 2 static centre-halves. We've got other options at centre-half as well. You've got Bay, that's an option. I like Bay a lot, and he's done well in the last 2 games he has played in. The only element of concern about Eric Bay is that he's too injury-prone. But we definitely need a centre-half next year. We need someone on Harry Maguire's level, don't we? Without a shadow of a doubt. Some people believe that Man United should put Dean Henderson as number 1 now, because he's reliable enough to become our number 1. But I think David De Gea is going to remain our number 1 for this present time, and he's probably going to remain our number 1 for the rest of this season. This is David De Gea's 10th season at the club, so he has been a long servant. He's made over 500 appearances for us in all competitions as David De Gea. Hasn't there? But we do need better players, and we have got good players at the football club, like I've already gone through with you. I think, Marcus Rashford is a very, very good player. Rashford scores goals, he gets good runs in behind, he's got that end product now. He's obviously gained more and more experience with how many minutes he's been getting under his belt. I just think we need to keep Marcus Rashford out wide, because that's where he's more effective. Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for several years. I think he's been at United since 2005. He's been in our senior squad since 2016. Like I said earlier on, he's got 50 goals now in the Premier League for Man United. Anthony Martial, he's obviously good when he wants to be, and he's done very, very well recently, to his credit. Should have scored against Leicester, like I mentioned earlier. Martial, don't forget, scored in the 2-0 win against Everton in the Carabao Cup. He didn't score against Leeds, but he got 2 assists against Leeds and also won the penalty. Would that be classed as assist as well, winning the penalty? He scored in the 3-2 win against Sheffield United. So good to see him improve, because earlier on in the season he was out of form because he wasn't being clinical enough. But don't forget, Martial had that 3-match suspension in the Premier League because he got sent off in our 6-1 defeat to Tottenham. Martial was good last season, and he was good in his debut season under Van Gaal. He's enjoyed a good 5 years or so now at the football club. Ollie was the one that gave Anthony Martial that number 9 shirt. Like I said, I think Edison Cavani, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. Mason Greenwood, he's a good player. He's done well recently. He obviously didn't play any part against Leicester. Greenwood scored a fantastic goal in the 3-1 win against West Ham earlier on in the season. Earlier on in the season, Mason Greenwood had personal issues and he had injuries, and obviously at one point he was out with illness. Ollie's been defending Mason Greenwood a lot this season. This is his second season in our senior squad, and at the start of this season we give him that number 11 shirt. Bruno Fernandes, he's obviously very, very good as well. He's our best player, and he's the best signing we have made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes has been at the club now for almost a year. Don't forget, Fernandes scored against Leicester like I mentioned earlier on. He also got the assist for Rashford's goal. Fernandes, didn't he score 2 against Leeds? Didn't he get an assist against Leeds as well, if I'm right? He has just scored so many goals for the club, and he's also provided assists. He can create chances as well. He won Player of the Month for November, but he's won that now quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. Didn't we get him for like £47 million from Sporting Lisbon back in January? Bruno Fernandes said when he came to Manchester United, he said he came to win trophies, and he was disappointed that we didn't win a trophy last season. Fernandes predominantly plays in that number 10. I think Donny van der Beek's a good player. He's just not getting enough minutes under his belt in the Premier League. Certainly not getting enough starts. Donny van der Beek can play in like 3 different roles. We got him for £40 million from Ajax, didn't we? You know, during the summer transfer window. I think Fred's also a very, very good player. I think he needs to read his game better, but I think this season he showed some good attacking intent, and I like the way he's broke up the play. He's been at the club now a few years. We got him for like £47 million from Shakhtar Donetsk a few years ago. To Paul Pogba's credit, I think he's done very, very well since he's come back from that ankle injury. McTominay, he's enjoyed some good games this season. He's been playing a lot alongside Fred this season, hasn't he, as McTominay? His best game in a Man United shirt was a 6-2 win against Leeds, because obviously he scored twice in that game and he also got an assist. Don't forget we was 2-0 up in the first 3 minutes. Still got me concerns about McTominay. He's obviously not world class yet, but he's obviously got a lot of development in him. He did sign a 5-year contract with Man United, by the way, just after the first lockdown. So he committed his future with the club there. And he's been at the club for several years. Luke Shaw, like I've already said, he's impressed me. Alex Telles, I think he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Man United career. He had a bad game against RB Leipzig, and I heard that he didn't have a great game against Istanbul Başakşehir in Turkey. Prior to that, he's done well, Alex Telles. He didn't play against Leicester, did he? We got him in a deal worth like 15.4 million. I think Harry Maguire's very good when he wants to be as well. Lindelof's good when he wants to be. Wan-Bissaka's also a very good right back. But as concerns about him is his lack of attacking intent and his distribution. This is second season at Man United. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. And I think De Gea's done well in some games this season where he's made fantastic saves. Even Juan Mata, he's enjoyed good games this season. Next year, we're going to get rid of players, obviously, because there's still deadwood at the football club. Next year, we'll get rid of Lingard, Jones, Rojo, Romero. I think Pogba will go. Matic may go. Mata may go. James could go because he's been subjected to transfer speculation. There's obviously been rumours of Williams going out on loan because he's now our third choice left back. I think Igalo will go in January when his loan expires at the football club. Maybe Timothy Fosu-Mensah could also go. We'll see. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.